this 1966 Impala. Found it in a barn from a guy. He hadn't been running it very much for the past couple of years. He bought it from someone else who did a little bit of body work, but it's just been sitting in the barn, so I thought, let's bring this car back to life, have some fun with it. It's been painted matte black, obviously. We'll check under the hood. Alright, so we got a 350 engine in here. It's actually hooked up to an automatic 3-speed TH 350 transmission. No power steering, no power brakes, no AC, none of that fancy stuff. If you look over there, that's the heater core tubing, and that's obviously not connected. You got these nice old Chevy headers that actually come up before they go back down. That's real nice. And then, I don't know if you can see it very well, but this used to be a 3 on the tree vehicle, and it still has all the linkages for that manual transmission, but obviously it's not connected. Let's see. The clutch is right in there, and then you can see all the linkages right there. That's coming from the steering column itself. That's just still on there. Okay, the interior is it's a little bit rough, I guess. As you can see, it needs some seats. The headliner is completely non-existent. Back seat doesn't look too bad though. Got that nice Impala sign. Some aftermarket speakers in the back go along with the radio. It's in here. All right, so the speedometer actually works. Fuel gauge works. Clock, not so much. This is an aftermarket. We got the oil pressure as well as the temperature over there. And you can see I have 3 pedals down there, so the clutch is still, the pedal's still there and everything's hooked up. It's just not going to a transmission. Here's the shifter. That's not a ratchet shifter or anything special or fun like that, just regular old shifter. When I bought this transmission was so low that the fluid didn't even show up on the dipstick, and this guy had been driving it, so that's going to be real nice. So before I took it off the trailer, I added 2 quarts to it, and it is still low. Not good. Okay, so I turn on the key. You can hear the fuel pump turning on. You can see the wipers work. The headlights actually do work. Can't really tell too well. Turn signals work and everything. I'd say pretty good deal. Make sure it's in park. Give it a few pumps. A few more pumps. It actually fires and will run. Oh, it sounds like it's low on gas. There she goes. Yeah, so the car actually does run, which is a plus for sitting in a barn for 2 years. But it's starting to smoke on one side, so we might have to be doing some engine rebuilding here in the near future. Now we're getting into the trunk. This is where the bulk of the past bodywork had been done. We see here we got a power steering pump, power steering gearbox. So that's a pretty simple, now that I have all this, the gearbox is still tight, I checked it. That's going to be an easy just throw on and run power steering project. Here's the fun stuff. You get into there and you got a hole you can see right through. Real nice. If you look right here, you can see it almost looks like they just took a pan, like a floor pan for the trunk that you're supposed to weld in, cut it out of another car, set it in, screwed it in a couple places, and that's as far as I got. So that needs a little bit of work. This stuff here is pretty great. It looks like some wire meshing through some expandable foam, let's call it, in there, bondoed over the top, and that's what you call a sidewall, rear quarter right there. You can see just a little bit of bubbling where it's coming through. Yeah, needs a little bit of work there. But the lights work. ones that were hooked up at least, and yeah, pretty good. Yeah, so from a little bit of research on the car, this is obviously, if you look at the exhaust pipes, they're new. The exhaust has been redone from about middle of the front seat back, and they put in some glass packs. Not a fan, but reason being is underneath the trunk here, typically the stock exhaust would come up in a loop around up underneath right here next to the gas tank before coming out. And where that spot where it looped upwards towards the trunk floor, that would rust out. And once that rusted out, then you get the exhaust gas coming up into the trunk area. And that's where you see on these Impalas all of this trunk rust. So that's what happened there. And unfortunately for me, my fuel tank is also rusted out there. Not the tank itself, but the mounts. So I'm going to be needing to build a new fuel tank mount on this also. So when I was going through here, I was looking underneath the floorboards and everything. You pull up the carpet here, and the floorboards are solid, at least on the driver's side. Passenger side has about one hole, a little bit smaller than a dime. So that's not too bad, just a little patch panel there. The only problem that I'm real concerned with besides that trunk area, you can't see it very well right now, but sitting right about in this area to about this area, on the frame rail itself, there's some rust on it. Luckily for me, that's a straight section, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut some 2-inch square tubing and cut out the rusted frame part, put that 2-inch square tubing in, and that's going to be my new frame in that section right there. But besides that, the frame is really solid on this car. It's probably the only reason I bought it, but it's going to be a fun, easy switch over to the 5-speed manual. Just because I already have the clutch pedal, I already have a hole cut in the floor for me. Just switch it over there, put a little bit of work into the engine, and it's going to be a fun runner for me. So keep a watch out for more videos to come on this car, but it's going to be a fun little project, nice daily driver once I get it running. So.